When Marathon launches next month, the game and Bungie are going to complete the gaming equivalent of James J. Braddock's Cinderella Man story. If you haven't seen the 2005 Russell Crowe movie, you should, but it's the rags to riches story of the heavyweight boxer. He was a heavyweight contender who broke his right hand right before the Great Depression. Braddock eventually ends up back in the ring, wins a bunch of fights, gets his shot at the championship belt and wins, and that earned him the title of Cinderella Man. Trust me, the movie is not spoiled. It's based on a real story, but it is absolutely worth your time watching. Marathon is having a similar arc. I don't think I need to waste anybody's time going over Bungie's storied history, but just in case you don't know how good their games are, I recommend playing Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach, and Destiny 2 probably for about 20 hours. These games were Bungie's version of Fight After Fight 1 on their legendary rise, firmly cementing their spot at the top of studios in the industry. They were so highly regarded, Sony bought the studio for $3.6 billion in a 2022 panic purchase, while Microsoft was swallowing up every studio they could. To put this in perspective, Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion. They bought Star Wars for $4 billion. Sony paid $3.6 billion for Destiny 2 and whatever Marathon looked like at the time. This acquisition was the peak for Bungie. So let's go back a little bit in time from the acquisition and look at what Bungie's broken hand is of their story. When the original Destiny was set to launch, I was incredibly excited. I couldn't wait to see the game this amazing studio left Halo to create. The first few days were great, especially their multiplayer, but of course Bungie was going to do well when crafting an arena shooter part of their game. The biggest complaint I had was, where is the story? You had to collect these lore cards and then you had to read everything. No cinematics really throughout the game. I was disappointed, so I played as much content as I could and then I moved on. Bungie would soon announce the sequel, Destiny 2. I did not play Destiny 2. I don't have any personal anecdotes to tell you about Destiny 2. What I can tell you is it launched to much better reviews than Destiny 1 and was a very popular game. Destiny 2 would end up struggling a couple years after release, so they changed the game to a free-to-play model and made their expansions the paid content. These expansions would bring people in to play the new content, but it did not keep them around. As far as I understand it, in-game monetization, consistent issues not being fixed, and the game generally not respecting players' time is what forced players to leave. Their legendary status had taken a major blow. With all the Destiny 2 problems going on, Bungie would announce Marathon in 2023. While this may seem like a new IP to most people, this is actually a resurrection of the franchise they worked on before Halo, but this time a PvPvE extraction shooter. We wouldn't hear much from Bungie on Marathon until April of last year, where they showed off the gameplay and had a panel interview of some of the leads of the studio. 2 weeks later, Marathon had a closed alpha where people got in and played for the first time. This is the beginning of their Great Depression. The game was planned for release just 5 months after this test, and the game did not look like it was ready for release. Visually, it just wasn't where you'd expect a Bungie game to be. On top of that, they were planning on releasing the game without proximity chat, which everybody thought was a stupid, dumb idea. Their reasoning behind it is they wanted to avoid the toxicity gamers can inflict upon each other. They apparently didn't know that you could have this feature and include a setting to just turn it off. Many people were calling for the game to be delayed. Releasing a month before Battlefield 6, Black Ops 7, and the surprise hit of 2025, Arc Raiders was going to be a death sentence for this game. And then we had the big one. The art theft. If you don't know this story, an artist called Anti-Real posted screenshots with side-by-sides of their art from 2017 and Marathon's alpha in 2025 with identical details. No question. It's basically copied and pasted. Bungie responded with a series of tweets to their secondary account, not the really big public one where everyone can see it, but the smaller hidden one. They blamed a former employee, saying they copied and pasted them into a folder that they apparently submitted for review. They tried to escape blame by throwing a ghost employee under the bus. And by the way, Bungie has a habit of doing this. They did this multiple times with Destiny 2. They found stuff their community made online and used it in promotional materials or cutscenes in the game. The internet had a field day with this revelation. They found many of the Bungie artists followed Anti-Real. This created a massive amount of negativity around the game. Marathon is still considered by many to be in the Concord trilogy. It just depends on whether or not you put High Guard as Concord 2 because it released before Marathon, even though Marathon was technically revealed before High Guard. Marathon followed this up with the disaster of a live stream to address the issues, but also try and talk about other aspects of the game to kind of sweep it under the rug, I guess. No one was having it. The audio was a mess, and people in the chat kept calling it Art Raiders. Just listen to how nervous Joe Cross was, the former art director, having to talk about it. And no, there is nothing wrong with the audio syncing on my video. This is actually the live stream. This is just recorded from the live stream. This is how they put it out.
Yep. Thanks, Joe. And hey, everyone. I'm Joe Cross, franchise art director of Marathon. Yeah, and wanted to take a minute to talk about some of the events from yesterday. It came to our attention. And sorry, I wrote this. I wanted to make sure I get this message right. It came to our attention that an artist who worked on Marathon in the early stages of pre-production.
In June, Bungie would decide to delay Marathon. We have reached the bottom. No more September release, and the devs have more time to work on the game and remove the stolen art. During this delay, Marathon would start its climb back up. They held more playtests. One I got to play in October. This is when I realized the game actually still had a chance at success. The game felt great. Exactly what you would expect from Bungie. I still don't love the idea of heroes in the game, what they're calling runners. But the amount of factions that have quests for you to do and how you can unlock more stuff in the stores to buy better stuff to take in felt like they had progression in a good spot. I didn't love the solo mode, definitely not as fun as Arc Raiders solos would prove to be, but that could change now that they also confirmed proximity chat is coming in the game. Other things they confirmed are it is releasing with all of their planned maps, including what would have been post-launch maps and a ranked mode they consider revolutionary. I don't know what that could look like, but I'm interested to see it. They did also confirm there was going to be a beta before release. I'm recording this the day before the state of play, so when they announce the actual beta release dates, I'll put that in here. And the timing of this beta is where I'm going to jump to why I think Marathon is actually set up for success. This is their return to the ring. Marathon is going to release in a sweet spot. Battlefield 6 isn't even talked about anymore. My friends that don't play Arc Raiders are playing fucking golf together. Don't even consider booting it up. The last new map I played, the one that's just on fire, sucks. Their battle pass that they had to give me for free because of launch issues on their own app is a fucking slog with stupid tasks and game modes I don't want to play. I got my money's worth of Battlefield 6, but that game isn't even updated on my PC currently. Arc Raiders updates have been okay since Stella Montis, which is basically just a launch map because it came out so quickly after release. And the amount of exploits that people have found are exploding this week. Arc Raiders' second wipe is going to happen 3 days before Marathon's official launch in March. Assuming that Marathon's beta is going to be 2 weeks before launch, that way the devs have time to fix anything that they need to, Marathon will have their beta, the week after will be Arc Raiders wipe week, and then the week after that will be Marathon launch week. You know what I'm going to be playing during that last week of Arc Raiders? Marathon's beta. Do you know what streamers are going to be playing that last week before the wipe? Marathon's beta. So because of this schedule, they're perfectly in a place for, instead of everybody going in and trying to lose all their stuff before the Arc Raiders wipe, they're going to be playing Marathon's beta. Streamers will be playing Marathon's beta. This game is going to get so much attention before launch. They basically already changed the narrative with their pre-order video that shows what the game looks like now. And have you seen the voice cast list for this game? It's incredible. I think if Marathon has a really strong beta weekend or week, however long that they have this beta open for, it is going to sell so many copies. I don't think Marathon's going to explode like Arc Raiders did, don't get me wrong. The two games are very different, more than just one's a first-person shooter in space and the other one is a third-person shooter where you also fight robots. But Arc Raiders has the ability for people to make clips doing role-playing that I don't think is just possible in Marathon. But I do think the game's going to sell a shitload of copies. My guess for Marathon is a peak of 200,000 plus on Steam, but stays consistent. To wrap up the whole Cinderella Man analogy, I think their championship belt moment is going to be when they are the highest concurrent number on Steam for any extraction shooter on the platform. I think they're going to be higher than Arc Raiders during launch week. Sony too is probably putting a ton of pressure on Bungie because their investment hasn't paid off yet. A strong launch and consistent fresh content will hopefully make this a game that's fun for years to play. And then we get to have both Arc Raiders and Marathon to continuously go back and forth with. Wouldn't that be nice? That's my thoughts on Marathon. Tell me what you're thinking in the comments. Are you buying the game, not buying the game? What are you looking for in the beta? I think everything about Marathon's story has been super interesting, especially all the bad stuff. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like it. If you didn't, dislike it. Consider subscribing, follow me on Twitch, and we'll see you when we see you.